Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for some of you. Welcome to our WLI April event. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Tracy Wood, and I'm a Vice President of Strategic Accounts, and I chair our WLI Affinity Group. I would like to extend and provide a warm welcome to our guest speaker today, Luciana Paulise. And Luciana will be speaking on learning to advocate for yourself and finding your voice. Her background includes work as a culture coach, speaker, book author, Biztorming Training and Consulting, and We Culture LLC CEO. She is an MBA quality engineer, Agile coach, Scrum master, and she primarily conducts research and advisory work on company culture and team dynamics. Her goal is to help organizations identify and address pain points to improve the work life for all employees. She has worked with a wide range of companies, from small businesses to Fortune 100 corporations, to help them improve quality, employee engagement, and innovation. Luciana has recently published a book, 5S, Your Life to Help Sustain 5S Implementation and Improve Personal Productivity and Self-Organization. She is also a regular contributor for Forbes Quality Progress and other international media outlets. Luciana has served on various nonprofits as chair and advisor. She is an Argentinian and lives in Texas and is bilingual English-Spanish. I would now like to hand off the event to Tammy Johnson, who is a Merit Senior Corporate Recruiter and is co-leading our Work Environment Group 2. Tammy?
Thanks, Tracy, and welcome, Luciana, and thank you for doing our presentation today. As part of the Women's Leadership Initiative, our Work Environment Group Committee discussed what could we focus on for the April presentation. And one of our committee members, Melissa McKinnon, had been to an American Society for Quality seminar and commented that Luciana had presented to their group. She mentioned to us how Luciana's presentations have always been so dynamic and full of actionable tools. So as we discussed the fact that we wanted something we could take action with, we discussed how sometimes in meetings or in conversations, we don't feel like we have been heard. And we spoke to Luciana and asked if she could speak to us on learning to advocate for ourselves and finding our voice, and provide actionable tools to assist our employees. So we hope that Merit employees enjoy the presentation today, and I'll turn the time over to Luciana for her remarks.
And team, thank you, Tammy. Team, if I can just remind everyone to please hit mute, and that way only our guest speaker will have her voice and video on. And also, if you could remove yourself from video, and Luciana, if you could please add back on your video.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you see me and can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
I can see her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see.
The camera is on.
I can see her.
Can you
right.
see me?
I can see her as well, so.
It must be just my view. Please continue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tammy, for inviting me today. It's my pleasure, especially to talk about this topic. So I'm going to start with some statistics, but I just want to mention that even though I'm starting with some statistics for mothers and women, we're not going to talk about just women. Advocating for yourself, raising your voice is something that is that anyone can be having issues with, or something that we all should be doing in our companies, in our families, in our communities. So I hope that everyone feels involved, feels engaged with this presentation. And you'll see, wait for it, you'll see that there will be examples for everyone. All right. So let's start. So my first number here is that 33% of mothers consider leaving the workforce or downshifting their careers due to COVID-19. This is a big number, especially for women. When growing their careers, women have always had to overcome unique challenges compared to men, particularly in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the STEM occupations that are usually male-dominated jobs. But COVID-19 really made it even worse. And McKinsey research conducted in partnership with Leaning Org shows that, as I was saying, 33%, that is 1 in 3 mothers, have considered leaving the workforce. And that's really bad. But why? I mean, why is this happening? We know some of the reasons why, but what's the behind the scenes, right? What I've been seeing is that the judgment of others condition a lot women's inner voice, particularly. Women tend to keep quiet, play small, and avoid asking for help. And during COVID, when they were needing help the most, maybe some of them were really afraid to say, well, I cannot work with my kid next to me, or I cannot ask my husband to leave their job. I have to do it for myself. So it's sometimes that's what happened with women, right? We try not to bother our teammates or bother our partners and tell what we need. But again, that's something that it's common for women, especially mothers. But what we are seeing is that this is not only women that are realizing that they are not raising their voice. What we're seeing, and you may have noticed too, there's a lot of people already resigning jobs right now. We have seen since April 2021 a 41% of resignation, which is called an era that is called the Great Resignation. So to be fair, the after pandemic workplace showed that mothers are not alone. There are many, many other employees that are also feeling left out at the workplace. They're feeling not heard. And they are trying to change that. So that's why they are moving from one place to the other, trying to find where they can be heard. So this is driving organizations crazy. A lot of employees moving out, moving from one place to the other, trying to look for new employees, hiring, training them. This is a really crazy time, but it's also a good time for start asking, what can we do different? What can everyone do different? How can we help people feel that they belong? Because I think that the main problem here is that people are feeling they don't belong because they cannot raise their voice. They feel left out. They feel that they are not good enough. So what are the common barriers that we're seeing in the workplace? We're seeing probably gender and racial bias. We're seeing that many of the people that are feeling left out are being asked for higher performance standards. And that's usually how women felt, like they are the only ones in the room, so they need to perform better, or they need to show that they work harder even if they have kids. Many of these people also feel that they don't have enough support or sponsorship from CEOs or from someone in the for maybe you're the president from the company or the board, because maybe they are different to them. Maybe if they are men support men and women support women. So this is hard on people because it's preventing them to grow, or it's making it more difficult. But there's also the industry bias, and I'm sure that many of the employees feel that way. There are some women that they don't feel comfortable. They feel that the only ones in an engineering environment, which again makes them difficult to grow. There's also the Zoom ceiling. Many people that are working now from home also feel like that's a barrier for their growth when they're working from home and they're not going to the office, or they are going less often to the office. So Being the only is today a big issue for many people in the workplace. So let's try to see more about that. Uh, being the only, what is that? For me, it's very common. I have always been the only. When I started working, I was the youngest. Then I started my consulting business, and I was not only the youngest consultant, but also was the only women youngest consultant. There weren't many, young consultants in quality management. There were always men in the 50s with a lot of experience. So I had to partner with a man in the 50s to help me, pick up my consulting business, because it was a man-led industry. But that didn't stop there. Then I moved to the US. I was living in Argentina. Then I moved to the US. And what happened? Another problem. I was Hispanic. So I was again a woman in a mainland industry. I was Hispanic. I had this accent. I had these quotes. All those things that made me all the time being and feel the only. So what's the problem with being the only? Hmm? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever felt like you are the only? Hmm? Is it good or bad? What do you think? Hmm? If you start to think about, this is something that can happen to anyone, right? Maybe I was feeling like I was the only one, the only Hispanic, the only woman, but maybe there were others in the room suffering the same thing, or maybe they were feeling the only about other things. Maybe there were some that were, while I was the youngest, there was someone else that was the oldest, or maybe uh, some are the only ones that are married, some are the only ones that are not married, or some of the only ones that are married to or have a husband or have kids or like sports, different things. So being the only is something that it happens to everyone in different circumstances, and it can also change. But sometimes we feel like the only ones that suffer that. But let me tell you, there's also a lot of people, like, for instance, white male, that sometimes they also feel that they are the only ones. Maybe they are the only ones that are not a minority, or they feel judged by the minorities. So why is it that we have all the time this me versus you, right? We feel this danger that my voice versus their voice, that mm, I see this like we are very me oriented when we're thinking this way. But there are other ways that we can think. We can find this as an opportunity, because being only could also mean that we are unique. So we can see it in a different way. So we can see this as an opportunity if we think not as a me, but as a we culture. We think that our voice is unique and is as important as the voice of anyone else. But in order to think this way, we have to raise our voice. We have to try to say what we think. We have to also be open to listen to others, because sometimes we, if we are if I'm the only one that is the woman, I may have a different point, a different perspective, a different point of view. If I keep it to myself, it will not add any value. But I can raise my voice. But in order for me to raise my voice, I need to know that everyone else outside will be open to listen. So this has both ways, right? That's what I'm seeing. Is not just me, what's happening to me, but if we think in a we mentality, we're gonna think both ways, that we have to raise our voice, but we also have to be open to listen what's up there. So this is This is kind of an exercise that you can start practicing when you go to a conversation with someone. Maybe you always talk about, you have kids, you always talk about your kids. Hmm. What if we stop for a while and think, oh, what if someone here doesn't have kids? Maybe they have something else to offer. Maybe they have something else to say that I don't know. Maybe they know more restaurants than me. you know, there are many things that we can learn if we start to be more open. So this is something very, very small that we can do to start raising our voice and helping others raise our voice. So let's deep more into this. I'm hearing something. I don't know if this can be Tracy. There's a sound. Maybe someone is not muted, but
Okay, let me see if I can
yeah.
mute all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's.
You'll need to unmute yourself now, Luciana. Luciana, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear
There you
me?
go. Yep, there you go.
Okay, perfect. So we again, our voice is unique, no matter if we are the only ones. Instead of thinking that we are the onlys, we have to think that we are unique and we have to lead our way. I think the pandemic has brought a lot of opportunities for everyone. There are many barriers, barriers that I mentioned that can make us vulnerable maybe, but they can make us stronger too, because there's more things that we can provide to the world that we can change. For instance, during the pandemic, a Muslim woman was able to develop a brand of sport clothing for women. Then New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has proved to handle crisis well during COVID-19, much better than many other presidents or prime ministers in the world. So there are so many people doing great things, even though they are the onlys, they still feel like they have something to prove. And don't forget about the activist Greta Thunberg, woman, young, uh, activist in a world where the oil and gas are primary, right? So there are so many things. There are so many people that are doing something out there. So again, I'm sure I'm here on Earth to do something great, and I don't want to give up on it, and I don't want you to give up either. But what can we do to make this work? So we have to be brave. We have to be brave enough to deal with success as well as with failure, because whenever you want to raise your voice, you may be scared. So that's maybe the reason why when we feel the only, we don't want to talk. We feel like whatever we say, it's not gonna be nice, it's not gonna be welcome, right? When someone is talking about sports and we don't know any sports, so we're gonna be feel left out. But what if we can talk about something else that we like? That could be look like a failure. Well, we have to be ready to deal with that. We have to be ready to share. That's the way that we can dare to do something new and show something new to our company, where everyone will be more beneficial with that. So let's talk more about this. I think that in order to deal with success as well as with failure, we have to think how we can uh, take care of ourselves, be brave enough so that we can do this. So that's why I developed this self-care journey, which is just 4 steps that we can start practicing every day, so that we can see what our opportunities, explore, connect to our opportunities to see what else we can find out there. Know where am I? What is it that I need to connect to that opportunity? Pay attention to what I need, then know myself, respect what is it that I think, respect what is it that I like, and don't be afraid of that. Just show it to the rest of the world, and empower others also to get what get what you need and to help others get what they need. And this is maybe where our Latin culture helps, because something that I feel very different with the American culture is that in Latin America, we like to share a lot. We share everything about us. We share the good things, the bad things. And I think that helps us, being more vulnerable, being more, we raise our voice no matter what. We are more, it's kind of like we don't care, but we don't care. But still, it's like the culture values that. But here in America, we tend to be more conservative, right? We just show our best part. But, we have no best parts or bad parts. Every part of us is good, is something that is worth it to show. So let's see how we can get more deep into that and see how we can make this self-care journey work for you. So let's start with the connection. Connect ideas, intuitions, desires. Don't be afraid to be different. So you have to find your north. Where is it that you want to be? Where is it that you like to be? No matter your race, no matter your gender, no matter you have kids, no kids. It doesn't matter. Where do you want to go? No matter if anyone else wants you to go there. Try to find where you want to go. Try to connect your ideas with other ideas. So open up, connect with your past, connect with your purpose, your environment, your root, your culture. That whatever you have, your background helps you to be different, and you have to show that. That's something great. Connect with others to drive more ideas. If you're always talking, you may not listen to what others have to say, and you may be losing a lot of things. So if we all can spend more time trying to listen to the others, we're going to learn so many things. We're going to learn so many things about the others that, maybe we realize we're not the only ones. Maybe we realize there are others that have our same, our fears, or they like the same things we like, and we're not the only ones. Be open to something different. And in order to that, what we have to do is explore, fail, be wrong if we have to be wrong, try. These are critical elements in the exploration process to achieve innovation, to achieve growth, to dare do something different. But again, we need to be brave enough to do this. So in the connection phase, the first step of the self-care process, we need to start brainstorming. Where is it that we want to go? Where is the desired state? Where do we want to go? What are the strengths that we have to get there? Maybe what are the gaps to get there? What are the things that we can improve to get there? And define an action plan to get there. So this is an exercise that I will show you that I did with a client. It's just an example, but it will show you that it is something that you can do by yourself. You don't have to do it just face to face with someone. You can do it online, or you can do it just by yourself, but you'll see how you can do it. So the second step is to pay attention. Pay attention and observe more. Listen to what you think. Listen to others. Identify what is wrong or what can be improved. So again, this is the exercise I was telling you. Um, uh, Try to think about your strengths. Try to think about your what is the gap. I mean, what do you need to get to where you want to be? Maybe again, you cannot raise your voice, you are scared. What is holding yourself back? This is again an exercise that I did with a client. I changed it a bit, so it may not look like what you're feeling, but this is a good exercise that you can do, that is very, very easy. Just try to think step by step, what are the things that you can really, go in detail and try to see what is it that is holding you back. it's important in order to that to listen to yourself, identify those fears, focus on less things. Something that I realized when we with the pandemic is that people are having so many distractions. Everyone is having, when you're on the phone, first you receive emails, then you receive calls, then you receive alerts of all the time, of all the things. Every app is having their own alert, their own messages, and everything is distracting us. And it doesn't allow us to focus on the things that matter more to us. So don't be afraid to say no to people, to apps, to emails. Block your messengers when you want to be alone. Block your calendar whenever you need. It's very important that as part of the second stage attention, you try to focus your attention on the things that matter most to you, so that again your voice can be louder. If you have so many distractions, like for instance, distractions are not only things are outside of you. Some distractions are within you, like harmful thoughts. How many of you sometimes think, hey, I'm not good enough, I don't have anything new to offer. No, I'm not gonna say this. Nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna listen. Mm? Tell me if you didn't think this sometime. Ah, we always do. We all do this, or we all think about this sometime. But we have to try to focus on what we do want and how we can get there. Mhm. So the best way to do it again is to focus in, but measure your progress using data, not opinions. Sometimes opinions from others or even your own opinions are not good enough. Just try to find ways to measure where you are, where are you going, what you're missing to get there. If you have data, you can challenge anyone. You can challenge even a manager. So if you think that you have the right answer, if you think that you have a good idea, try to find support documentation to show your manager. Here, this is what I can show you. This is what I can tell you. This is what's going to work. This is what's working with so many clients. This is what's working with other companies. Find data. This is very important to support, again, to focus on something that really calls the attention of the rest. So again, we started with a connection, connecting to our ideas, connecting to our intuition, and trying to find our north, where we are. Then we move to focus our attention on something particular, trying to find where we can improve, where we can be better. And what is the next step? The next step is an respect. Respect your strengths and complement them with the strengths of others. So again, it's not only to focus on, hey, what is wrong? What can we improve? But also say, hey, this is what I really have good. This is what I love doing. So why cannot I just try to make this even better? So going back to the same exercise, try to focus on your strength. Maybe you have a lot of experience. Maybe you have a lot of passion. Maybe because you're a mother, you have more experience multitasking and you can do more things at the same time. Or maybe you're better talking to someone. You're better at one-on-one meetings because you have these kind of conversations with your young daughter or with your young son. So everything that we do, everything that we are, makes us different in a good way. So try to know yourself. Try to highlight your strengths. If you are the first that need to believe in yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, and this may sound cliche, but it works like that. You have to showcase your strengths. You have to show who you are. Don't be afraid to do that. And again, put also on the other side, maybe you are the one who are not only, you are the one that is the majority today. Maybe tomorrow you're not the majority, but today you're the majority. So when you're the majority, try to think about the others who may not be feeling as they are a majority, who may not be highlighting their strengths. Is it because they don't have any strengths? Yeah, they probably do have. Everyone has strengths, but maybe they're too afraid to show them to you or to someone else. So always be ready to show your strengths and look for the strengths of others. If there's someone that you don't like, you can do the exercise and see, hey, I don't like this person, but still, there must be a strength that this person has. Maybe it's something that is similar to us, and that's why we don't like it. I don't know. Just try to think of ways to find strengths in everyone. And if it's hard for you, maybe you can get a coach, a sponsor within the company, or mentor, someone that can help you shine in your niche. Find what is your very specific strength, show it to the world. And again, complement your strengths with the strengths of others instead of competing. So that's also something that it's very common in companies, that well, so that I can shine, I had to make the others not shine or make the others feel bad, and that's not how it works. In a we culture, everyone in the company needs to shine. So we have to complement our strengths with the strengths of others. We need to stop thinking about competing. We don't need to compete. We really need each other. And that's something that I learned myself when I moved here to the US. Again, I was feeling like I was going to all these meetings. That were mostly men. There were some women, but there were only in sales position. And I was, putting myself as an expert in quality management. So it was a really weird position. But I thought, there's no Hispanic, no women in consulting. I'm young, so I have everything. I'm on the opposite of what needs to be done. So what can I do? So what I did is I just formed my own group. So I looked for other women, other Hispanic women in the area. I knew there were 40% Hispanics in the area, but I couldn't find them. So I finally found them. They were, going to different places. They were not going to the same places that white men were going. So why don't we mix them up all together? So we founded the Hispanic Women's Network. That was a network with all women that were Hispanic, that were speaking Spanish, but we started to do events where everyone could join because the events were bilingual. We were translating everything. I remember I was doing a training session in one of these courses, and there was a woman, a military woman, who just brought her phone and started to record what I was saying, and doing the Google translation at the same time. So, well, that was really crazy for me because I said, "Wow, we're doing something different here. Someone wants to hear what we're saying. Someone wants to be here, wants to join. Maybe she feels lonely, but we didn't make her feel lonely. We made her feel like she was part of our team too. And we were all wearing these shirts. So instead of, because clothes were also something. In Argentina or in Latin America, I was used to wear kind of dresses to go into these meetings. But when I was going to these meetings here, I was feeling like, oh, if I go with dresses to all these industrial companies, they were not taking me serious. So we said, okay, instead of no dresses, no, let's just wear these T-shirts, special T-shirts that have our logo. We designed a logo for the Hispanic Women's Network. Let's make it very standardized so that everyone can wear the same thing, so that everyone feels equal. So, well, that's me. If I don't have it, I created it, and that's how it works. It can be, you can create it everywhere, even in the company. Well, Tracy mentioned that you have affinity groups. Well, that's awesome. That's something that that helps you. I mean, you cannot feel alone in an affinity group. But if you want an affinity group with something that it's not created already, just create it or propose it. There's always space for more things. Be creative. Do whatever you like. All the things that were created, um, you know, over time were because someone felt like there was something that they needed and they didn't have it. So, innovation is not just for products, but it could be for anything inside the company. So the last step is to empower yourself and your teammates to get to the goal together. Mhm. Empowered means that just go do it. Just try to define what are the things that you need to do to remove all those gaps, to highlight those trends, whatever it is. So some of the things that I would recommend is, for instance, having a routine that can help you standardize daily processes or things that already work for you. As I said, maybe form or become part of a support group. Some have a body program. I don't know if Tracy or Tammy, you have this in Merit, but that's something that is good. A body program is where you just partner with someone, with you pair with a coworker or someone that you even don't know, but it's someone that, well, you can have discussions weekly or monthly to see how you're doing, to help each other. And that's also very common in the IT industry. All these guys that are coding things. What is very effective is to code in pairs. So no matter if someone is missing or someone gets sick, the other person knows where that person is coding or how they're coding, so they can continue their work. So working in pairs is something that can be done in accounting, can be done in any type of work we do. So that's something that we can think about. An accountability partner is another option. Maybe you can hire someone, or you can have a coach, or maybe again a friend or a coworker or a mentor that can check with you, check in once a month and see how you're doing, how are you with your goals. That helps us move forward in the right direction. So maybe we're slower. We're not always gonna be fast moving into the right direction where we want, but we're going to get there if we get this type of support. Also nowadays you can have apps, a lot of apps. One that I recommend is Sansama, but you have also Asana, Google Task, Trello. There's so many of these apps that help you get organized, help you organize your thoughts, help you share what you're doing with your coworkers, with your supervisor, so that everyone is in the same page, moving in the right direction. So just to wrap up, I think that the post-pandemic world is asking for help to build a we culture. Remember that at first I compared what's the me, just thinking, oh, I'm alone, oh, I don't have anything to offer. But if we think of a we can think, I have something to offer, but maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe someone else also has something to offer. So we culture is about saying more, it's about saying what you have to say, but also waiting for someone else to say what they have to say. Listen more. Really, the current models don't work anymore. If we're just focusing on what we do, on how what we do, we can, get our own benefit, is not enough. We've seen with the pandemic that we need to work together. It's a great example of, the mask, right? If I wear a mask, but I'm the only one wearing the mask, it doesn't help. So you have to wear a mask and I have to wear a mask, or we all have to agree that we don't wear it because it's not good. We need something else, right? But we all have to have the same agreement and respect the same things. And that's something that we can learn even from biology. um, which is self-organization. I don't know if you've heard of that. Agile teams work based on self-organization, and this is something that is learned from biology, as I was saying, like fish, like bees. They follow these patterns where, I don't know if you've ever seen, but fish, a school of fish, they just swim all together. They follow the same flow. And you wonder, how come? How can they do this? Are they following a leader? Have you ever wondered if they have a leader, or do they know by heart what they need to do? Also, birds you've seen flying all in, following this line or kind of an arrow. How do they do that? They have what is called self-organization, which means they just follow very simple patterns. They have very simple rules that they need to follow. Like for instance, they have to, look at their coworkers, or look at their peer fish, look at what they're doing, be close to them, but not too close so that you don't crash with them, but you have to see what they're doing. So what they do is they don't have a leader. They just look at each other and look at the environment. So they are very attentive to see what's going on, so that whenever something happens, they can quickly change. And if if you are following a leader, the leader cannot see all the threats that are around the school of fish. It's a big school of fish. But when you have all the fish paying attention to everyone, maybe just one can see a threat and react, and then the rest will react. So this is how they protect each other. They pay attention to everyone. Everyone in the school is important. Mm. They follow each other, and they look at the environment, they look at each other, and they follow these simple rules. That's it. That is self-organization. And we can achieve that too as a team. Try to see how we can look at our coworkers, try to hear to what they say, not only to our leaders, but everyone in the team is important. Try to look to what they have to say, what they see. Try to listen. Maybe they're closer to the customers because of their position. Maybe they're closer to a supplier, or they know something from another country that can help us work in a different way. So I think we can learn a lot from this pandemic. We can learn a lot from fish and from other cultures. So it's important that we take the direction of engagement. We can say, oh, this is how we are. This is how I am. This is where I was born, and just cry about it, or say, well, no, let's engage it. Let's use my strengths. Let's show my strengths. Let's use it for something good, and let's listen to others, to the strengths of others. Working together is really what makes us better. When we created this Hispanic Women's Network, we were always saying that together we were more. And that really helped us. Many women, after we created the organization, started to go out more, started to create their own business. It was amazing. It was a multiplier effect. So you never know how something that you need is something that other people also need, but they never maybe realize about it, or they never there to do it. So, there, be there to do it, be brave, raise your voice. So let's do just a summary of what we discussed. First, connect to your ideas, focus on your purpose, have your purpose, and use it to connect all your ideas and the ideas of others. Then pay attention to fears or barriers that may be there to preventing you from focus where you need to focus. So have your purpose, focus on it, and get away of all the things that are preventing you from getting that focus. Get collaboration from everyone around you, respect your strengths, and unite with the strengths of others and the passions of others, so that you can get more engagement. And don't forget the last step, which is really take action, empower yourself and others to move forward. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm right now open to questions, to other comments, anything that you like to say about the presentation. And I also would like to show you, well, I'm going to launch very soon the We Culture book next month. So maybe you can learn more about that on my website.
Thank you, Luciana. What a great discussion today. Really, really enjoyed it. I liked how you focused on, instead of internalizing, I'm the only in the room, instead to think about what's unique about you, focus on your strengths, your passions, and build on that. And then I especially liked, that you want to, or we should, complement our strengths with the strengths of others instead of competing and working as together, we can accomplish more.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's the essence of collaboration, of teamwork, and it's the essence of the future of work. I think that's the only way where companies will grow. You know.
Absolutely. Lucia, do you want to take the Q&A? Lucia, can you hear us?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
Does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead and speak up or put them in the chat, and I will read them.
Lucia, this is Tammy. And I just wanted to say, I wanted the Merit employees to know that Luciana did receive the feedback from the survey that we sent out. And I know she referenced a couple of the onlys. So I just wanted to thank our employees for providing that, because we know there's quite a few onlys out there. So thanks for doing our survey, and thank you, Luciana, for incorporating that into our presentation today.
Yes, so thank you, Tammy, for mentioning that. It was interesting when I was reading the results, because I found that there were several people saying that they were only on the same things. So I was wondering, well, maybe you're not the only one, right? Well, maybe you were in different groups. You never know. But sometimes it's because we don't know much about the people that we work with. So I think this is a great opportunity to start learning more about what others do. And as I said in the presentation, we may find out that, well, we're not the only ones, or we are the only ones in this, but we're not the only ones in this. And maybe we can find common ground with everyone. And if we cannot find common ground, well, we are unique. So let's show that uniqueness too.
Is there any other questions or comments from the group? No? Okay. Well, Luciana, again, thank you for joining our Women's Leadership Initiative Affinity Group for our April topic. We truly appreciate your discussion, and thank you everyone for joining, and have a nice afternoon.